Too bad. Hi, IAAH Radio, YouTube. Hi, everyone. I am live. New scenery for me and a new atmosphere. So, how's everyone doing this weekend? I'm just trying to see if I am actually at a good pace here. Can you hear me? All right, I'm live. I'm Judge Desire for Knowledge. Like, share, and subscribe on this channel for me, please, because I need these to get out. Know your truth, real talk, what it's about. Every week I have something different. So, this is series 3 of games people play. So, the last time it's not on? Yeah, I'm on. Okay, I'm on. Games people play. With that being said, do you see me on broadcast or no? Because I'm on IAAH right now, radio. Was there an issue? I don't know. I hope not. All right, so I'm going to begin. Games People Play Series 3 is up on this episode of Know Your Truth Real Talk. Looks like I am not on YouTube right now. I'm going to have to shut this down. I'm not sure why I'm not live on YouTube. This happened again. All right. Anyway, I'm going to finish this for IAAH Radio. Games People Play Series 3 on Parenthood. All right. Some couples, unfortunately, when relationships are over and done with, they play games using the children as, pawns against each other, um, against each parent. And the worst ones are the parents that stay in a relationship for the children's sake and play those games. That's the sad part. These games are usually about control, resentment, and power struggles, using the children as the most common games people play. So basically, I have had series 1 on dating, series 2 on marriages, and this is series 3, which is on parenting, which is parenthood. Can you see if you see me on? Hold on. I want to see if I am live on. What? Okay. I am trying to see if I am live here, and I'm not. Okay. I'm going to have to finish this and then tape it. All right. I'm doing this for IAAH right now because it looks like my stream is not going live on YouTube again since I've changed platforms. I haven't been able to go live. I don't see it either. Do you? Is it there? Okay. Well, we're going to finish it here. In this instance, if you saw my episodes 1 and 2, this 3, on this episode of Know Your Truth Real Talk, I will discuss the most common games played in parenthood. All right, the most common games is manipulation and control games, which I call tip the scales games. All right, using children as messengers, where a parent makes the child deliver information, often negative, instead of direct communication. Then gatekeeping, when one parent controls or restricts the other parent's access, time, or involvement with the children. Now, that's really tacky, but we know that a lot of people do that. Like I said, I gained my stuff from it, work experience, personal experience from other people's life experiences as well, and I put it all together, and I come to the to the content and create these contents so that I can bring it to you so that you can see the mistakes, or if before it happens, I should say, right? Scheduling, sabotaging is another one where parents, the other parent purposely making it hard for one or the other to attend important events at school, sports, or medical issues. Some do the opposite by scheduling the time of visitation to interfere with a parent's free time or personal time, like dating other suitors. I've seen that a lot. Personally, I've seen it happen actually, which is not a nice thing. When it's over, but there is no there is no information on why, or any reason why I should say anyone should block another person's future from because it didn't work out with you. And I find that as games being played by little girls and little boys, as I said in my first series, second series, and I'll say it in the third series. And that's really childish. And on top of scheduling sabotage, we have withholding. Now, these are forms of manipulation. So, on the fourth one, we have withholding information. So, this means not sharing on the children's health, school milestones, things like that, their report cards, as to leave the other parent out, like on honor rolls or graduations. Like the other parent's not going to know about this. This is a way to snag emotional manipulation to me. This is how that's played out. And that is what we call manipulation and control games. The next one is emotional games, which I consider to be mind games as well. First one is alienation. When a parent criticizes, belittles, or turns the children against the other parent. And it's sad to know, but we got a lot of people doing that out here today. It's sad, but it's true. And it does happen. And spying through the children. How many people have seen this in their own personal or other people, maybe relatives or family members that spy through kids, asking children to report what the other parent is doing and with whom? I mean, how tacky and how low can you go? If it's over, it's over. Some people don't know how to utilize that term loosely. Over means over. If it's meant to be, it will happen. It'll be back and it will be for real. But if it's not, then it won't. So as long as we mentally stabilize ourselves to understand what over means that maybe your beginning with someone else will be better, or maybe this isn't the time. Whatever the case is, when it's over, it's over. Let it be over so you can rejuvenate, re-energize, and not bring other situations into the mix like children. All right. Now, another one is after spying through the kids, I found out confiding inappropriate inappropriate manipulation. And this one, I had research on this one because I had to find a few other things outside of my life experiences, work experiences, and personal. So this is treating children like emotional support or allies against the other parent. I know a lot of you parents out there went through this. When a child is manipulated, that the other parent is wrong for leaving them is a big issue. Well, a parent was oh, well, they left us and they're wrong for doing so. It's not only me, they left you too. That kind of thing. That's not fair for the other parent. So this is why it's important to communicate with your children. As I said in the marriage series, communication is really important so that whatever is being said in the background, you can actually change the mindset of what was being put or what garbage they were being fed, if it was garbage, of course. Um, Either way, it should be a parent. Like when I separated and got divorced, oh, my children's father, I did not interfere in anything. I left them as it is. It's over. It's over. Here's your children. You see them. You see them. You don't. You don't. I mean, it's on you. I don't have to push you, do schemes, lie, manipulate. That's ridiculous. Who does this stuff? Losers. That's what I call them, male or female. Who does this stuff? Losers. Losers do this because you lose. In the end, your children lose. So you got to be a big loser to see and watch your children lose in that way. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's 50% of each parent equaling 100%. So that child is taken apart. Well, even just that bare 50% means a lot to a child. So he or they, she needs both values, both partners being parents, whether they're together or not. And please, for God's sake, don't stay in relationships with people that is not healthy for you just before the children, because the children will be in an unhealthy environment. I just wanted to say that actually. So, because I know, I personally knew and personally I experienced that. I know people that have, and they sat there. And you don't. For what? The children needs to know the truth. It's not working, and it's not about you. That's what you need to tell them. But anyway, it's wrong when a parent confides inappropriately to manipulate a child through emotions. And the good cop, bad cop. I call this good parent, bad parent. And this is when a parent plays the role, fun role, and paints the other parent as too strict to gain loyalty. So that what it is it too strict. And this way they gain loyalty over the child when they're not acting as strict as the other parent. And so this way they'll come to like them better. I mean, who competes with parenthood? I can't. So now after this manipulation, basically, and control games and emotional games, we now have resource and power games, which I call money games as well, because money is always an issue when it comes to whether it's marriage, dating, or parenthood. So, this resource and power game is basically financial leverage, applying for child support to get the upper hand of the other parent, overspending it on themselves and not the children, or withdrawing child support from a child. This is leverage some parents do to gain from remorse, from resentment of whatever happened in the relationship. Take it or leave it. You pick whichever side, if it's your story or not. And this is the things that happen during children. Mind you, they didn't ask for this. So if you're going to do anything and it doesn't work, amply, get it together, set it up that you're adults and mature adults about it, and that you're not acting like little girls and little boys through this process because you are raising little girls and little boys. So being one is not helping you. Also, under this resource and power games is competition spending, and we get those type of parents that are trying to outdo each other with gifts, trips, or treats to win affection, and overspending on children to buy their loyalty, and that also is not a good gesture as well, because like I said, it's not competition. You both love your children, hopefully, because there are parents that don't love their children. There's a lot of abandoned and orphan children out there for whatever reason. Some of the percentages because the parent didn't love them, not all of them. There's reasons for everything. So let's just hope that you love them enough that you don't have to put them in competition. You know what I mean? All right. So this spending and trying to outdo each other is really cowardless to me because taking care of your child is one thing, but someone has to beat someone else at something else just to show, well, I'm the better parent, then something's wrong with you. You don't have to prove that you're a better parent. You are a parent, and that's all that needs to be proven to your children. Mature adulthood, that's what we call it. Then there's another one called weaponizing household rules. So this is when setting different rules to create conflict. So all of a sudden now your rules aren't the same, and you're going to set it. Like for instance, if one says bedtime is at 9, the other says, "Oh, I don't mind what time you go to bed." But before they used to set rules, whether you live still through this, live with the person and they're doing this, or you separated and they go visitation, and you say, let them go to bed at 9. No, I don't feel like they should go at 9. Or if you're in a household and you and your husband or partner, whatever the case may be, because not everyone's married, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Um, you would definitely look at the child and say, "Look, I don't want you going to bed at this time, but your mother does." These are the things that manipulate children. This is why you don't sit in relationships for the children, because all they'll see is the downfall of your relationship through them, and they'll blame themselves. So the next one is conflict games, conflict escalation, where where it becomes so much that it really gets to the children at this time, because conflict is not an easy thing to put children through. So on the conflict escalation games, which is always played to people that want to public undermining, that's one of them. This is where you criticize or correct the other person in front of the kids all the time, um, things like that, always putting them down when they're around. When they're not around, you, oh, their mom or their dad isn't anything. Some people actually curse in front of their kids about their spouse or ex-spouses, and it's really a harsh game to be playing. And then there's one-upmanship when a parent is always trying to prove to the child who's the better and more loving parent. As I was saying, we don't need to ask our children who's the more loving parent. They're going to love both of you, maybe one more than the other. Just show them the love that they need. Then there's a guilt tripping. Yeah, guilt tripping when a parent makes a child feel bad for enjoying time with the other parent. So this is a very bad thing. Sometimes these other parents have moved on with other people, and so now the children have to not like that person either, or are being ridiculed for even liking the person because they're getting the attention they need. They have their mother or father, so they're just happy no matter what. But that other parent, whether it's a male or female, mother or father, they're going to come through with, oh, well, I don't like that person. I don't think you should either. Those kind of scenarios, those cause conflicts, and dragging children into arguments, like forcing children to take sides during conflicts. That's horrible. You're on my side, right? Wow, no. Why would I want to be on your side when I'm on no side? Because you're my mom and you're my dad. I mean, I'm a child. Can you let me live? This is things that really people, we don't think about this. But the bottom line is the games people play when children are involved may give a parent short-term satisfaction on leverage, but can confuse the child as well. So be very careful about that. Now, in this other part of the episode, this episode of games people play, I'm going to utilize explanations of why it is harmful by using the categories I just described earlier. And the reason for that is we need to see, while the other parent is doing these, causing conflict within the household, within the children, causing self-esteem issues. Why would it be harmful, and what is needed to be done, why it is harmful, I should just say, so that you can understand the processes of why you shouldn't do it, is what I meant to say. So here's the explanation when you're using a child as a messenger. I'm gonna give you scenarios. Tell your dad he better pay for your school trip or else we can't afford it. You know you can afford it, and if you can't, that's between you and the parent. How is that harmful? Or why is it harmful? It puts the child in the middle of adult conflicts and creates stress, anxiety, and confusion. All right. Now we're going to go to gatekeeping, controlling access to the child. Here's another scenario. Your dad or mom doesn't need to know, they never show up anyway. Okay, so you're keeping gatekeeping on controlling access to the child. Why is this not harmful? Well, the child loses the opportunities to have both parents present for important moments and feels resentment. Okay, they foster resentment after this against the other parent, because they don't see them coming, but one parent is not allowing that parent to come and be a part of it because they don't want them around. And so this creates a conflict. We have to come to a resolve where we just have to be around that other person. You was around when you were sleeping with them, so you were on top of them, or they were on top of you, whichever case may be. You were there. So if you can do that, then you can come together, even though you're not together, and do it for your children. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. At one point, you either loved or liked that person, and if you didn't, and a child was mistakenly born into the world, we still must look forward to doing our jobs as parents. We cannot sit there and bring a child into the world and just leave them there. Okay, mentally, physically, and spiritually, and emotionally, it's not fair to them. And that part where the child loses both the opportunities, that's harmful. Scheduling sabotage, we went through this already, where they sabotage the scheduling, purposely planning appointments on other parents time off from visitation to sabotage the other parents plans. Why it's harmful? Well, the child feels caught between loyalty to both parents and may blame themselves when parents fight about missed events. That's another reason why. Right? Another one is withholding the information category. Remember, we was talking about that? Not telling the other parent about the school meetings, report cards, or medical information. Why is it harmful? The children misses the consistent support of both parents. One parent becomes um, default. That's what we call the custodian parent, the custodial parent. That's the parent in the courts that is giving the right to receive child support, have the child live with them legally, blah, blah, blah. That's the custodial parent. So we call that the default parent here, while the other is left out and the child feels less important to them. So those things are very harmful. Now, when we come to the category of alienation, your father and mother never cared about us. This is what one part, what the other parent will do, not mentally use manipulation. Alienation is one of them. Your father and mother never cared. Take it whichever way. I don't want to just say your mother or your father. So mother or father never cared about us. That's why they left. How is this harmful? Why is it harmful? Over time, children internalize these feelings and negative views of the other parent, which damages or even destroys that relationship. And I've seen it. All right. So we need to stop. All right. Just because you don't love someone anymore doesn't mean your child should be done and finished with them, because that is a part of their child. That's their parent. It has nothing to do with you. What's over is over with you. It's not going to be over with the child. Okay. And this is the things that get me really angry with people. When we, like I said, with my children, I didn't talk bad around my children about their father. If I did on the side somewhere else, my children would never hear me talk down about their father. So this way, they don't feel humiliation, self esteem issues, alienated, and all these things we're talking about right now. Anyway, let's move on. So, the good cop, good parent, bad parent. When a parent spoils the child with whatever you want, honey, this is an example. Your mom and dad rules are ridiculous. Your mom's rules are ridiculous. Your dad rules are ridiculous, whatever way, but they continue to try to one side the child. Just me. Why is this harmful? It creates split loyalty. So the child is now confused as to who he should be loyal to, and confusion about boundaries. Where do you stop at this point? Child may resent the stricter parent now, because even if the rules are healthier, the child now believes, okay, you're the mean one. Whether the, I'm sorry, whether the strictness is good or bad, they're going to be the ones that are going to be definitely. I don't like it. Children don't like to be on restrictions or given rules and things like that when another parent is not siding along and agreeing with that. So be very careful of that. Okay, now spying through kids. That was one of the categories of earlier. So, what did mommy and daddy's new boyfriend or girlfriend do when you were over there? These are questions asked when you're spying through your children. What's harmful about it? Why is it harmful? It makes the child feel like an object or tool, not a person. It pressures them to betray trust with one parent, and sometimes they may come to dislike the new one, the new boo too, like I was saying earlier. Because people move on. They're not going to wait for you, should they? I can't. But either way, let's move on to the next category: confiding inappropriately to manipulate. Remember that category? All right. By confiding in a child with inappropriate information. Remember that? I don't know how I'll pay the bill since your dad or mom doesn't help. That's a way of manipulation, inappropriately confiding in a child. It's not their business to know that. Why is it harmful? I'm going to tell you why it's harmful. Children carry adult worries, which can lead to guilt, stress, and even depression. So, when you wonder why teenagers and young adults are acting the way they did you check yourself? I'm just saying. Check yourself, see why and what part you had to play in that, because you did. Outside of school, peer pressure, and all of that. Next is financial leverage. You won't get visitation unless I get more child support, or no child support unless I get visitation. Okay, it goes both ways. I've seen this in the court of law, where my employer is the courts, and we've seen a lot of this when I worked in family court, where they will not support the child based on things that they resent. I pray it's not the children, but sometimes I believe that Very few, it's they don't want the child or whatever, but very few. It's really the fact that the relationships didn't work out, and this is a way of punishing the person. So it's sad, but this is why it's harmful. Financial manipulation destabilizes the child's security and turns their needs into bargaining chips. So now you're bargaining off your child as the high to the highest bidder. I mean, it's horrible. I never believed why the court has to get involved. Yes, and I understand that courts will always be open no matter what, because you're going to always go to the court for situations like child support can be amicably um, done outside of the courts, but some people are just greedy and they want more or all of it just to give you a punishment of what? You're not punishing anyone. You're punishing your own child. So because your child is going to get paid regardless. If it's a good person, they're going to give it to you. If not, the court will give it to you. Why are you so greedy? Go to work. Go get your own money, though, because some of you don't or do have it and you want to hold your part, right? And you want to make enough money so you could pay all your bills and not take care of that child. Because I've seen that too. Unfortunately, that's another story. I'll do that next month, maybe. Um, so, like I said, that one is harmful, very harmful game to play is financial leverage. Oof. Competitive spending. Remember, I was talking about that category earlier? Dad got you sneakers, but I got you the newest video game. Okay, there we go. They're competing with their spending again. Why is it harmful? Children learn to equate love with material things, and then the relationship becomes transactional. And I have definitely seen that where the children grow up to believe that you owe them something and that you're their bank account. You go to the bank, go to mom, go to dad, they got my money. No, go work for your money. That's what I got to say. If we give you money, it's because we choose to, not that we have to when you become young adults and on your own. Go get a job. I did. The whole world does. If you can't get a job, your parents should be there to assist you, but not to fund you for lifetime. See, this is what happens and creates children into monsters, unfortunately, that always want to have a transaction, of financial transaction and nothing else. So we created this, not me and you, the people that have actually um, done the competitive spending. So now the child feels like, okay, so you owe me. Be careful with that because I've seen it a lot. Now another category, weaponizing household rules. One parent sets no rules. Remember that? So they are the good and cool parent, while the parent who sets rules isn't so cool. Right? What is harmful about that? The child struggles with consistent authority and respect. It pits parents against each other. So that's hard for a child to get through. Another one is the category is public undermining, which we was told in the other category earlier that a parent that the other parent undermining a parent in front of the public and in front of their children. So mocking the other parent in front of the child, such as, don't listen to what your dad or mom says. They don't know what they're talking about. That's not nice. So you shouldn't be saying that to your child. Why it's harmful? Because the child loses respect for that parent, being undermined and learns conflict instead of cooperation. You don't want to teach your child conflict. You want to teach them how to cooperate. Because in the real world, in the end of the day, they're going to go out there and they're going to lead the same relationship you train them to live under. So if you do that, that's what they're going to do in their relationships, whether it's work, a marriage, or dating, whatever the case may be. And usually it doesn't work. So you don't want a child losing respect for another parent just because you and them aren't together. Ugh. All right, and go watch my show Boundaries. I have a few parts on boundaries. Maybe one of them will suit you here. I think it's family. Anyway, one-upmanship is another category that I used earlier. Where you're always comparing who loves the child more. Well, if your dad or mom really loved you, they'd be here tonight, but I'm here for you. Those kind of things. Why is that harmful? Why it's harmful is because the child feels they have to choose sides and is pressured, and they don't like to be pressured, basically. And another category that we was talking about earlier, guilt tripping. Dad, mom left us to be with a new family. Dad or mom left us to be with a new family. We only have each other now. So this is one of the other parents stating that I use mom and dad because I don't want to use just primarily mom or primarily dad. So a guilt tripping, either parent left us to be, one of the parents says about the other parent, oh, dad or mom left us to be with a new family. We only have each other now. That's another mass manipulation so that the child believes that the parent that isn't in the household has left them as well. No, you didn't. We left you. That's it. That's all. You, not the child. Let's get it straight. If anyone wants to say that, I left you, not the child. They left you, not the child. When mothers and fathers get this, we're gonna realize that, oh, we made big mistakes in saying stuff that we shouldn't have said. The guilt trips that we do. And why is it harmful? The child feels guilty enjoying time with the other parent, leading to divided loyalty. So they don't know who to choose, who to be, which should be both parents. But the loyalty is going to lie with whoever the manipulator is. And I've seen it in dating and marriages and now in parenthood. Like I said, games people play. Please like, subscribe, and share. And hi, IAAH Radio. I hope you all still hanging in there. I'll be finished soon. It's just that it was a lot of content being that this is going on in real life around the world. People play games in all areas, and so I decided to make a series of it. Um, Dragging people, children into arguments is another category that we was talking about earlier. Asking who do you think is right or wrong, me or mom or dad, right? Mom or dad. When people do that to children, you're putting them in a position that's not good. Why is it harmful? Children should never feel forced to pick and choose sides. It creates a lasting anxiety in children, and so it shouldn't be done. Now that we're finished with that part, I just wanted to go to the core damage of games people play in parenthood, and that is it makes children feel responsible for adults' problems. Trust between child and parent erodes. Kids usually develop low self esteem. I've done the research and I've seen this in the courts. Or resentment due to loyalty to one or another, and not both. And that brings confusion. Long term, it can harm their own future with parents and other relationships, which is it's not a good thing. Like I was saying, other relationships can be anything. It could be in the workplace, it could be in a marriage, it can be dating, it could be anything. They won't relate with anyone, not their bosses, not their coworkers, not their future relationships can be as general as any relationship, okay? And we don't want that. And in the long run, it can harm their own future with parents, like I said, and other relationships is really sad. Children aren't a game, okay, of chess where you place them where it suits you. All right. They are your responsibility as they grow into adults. And what you teach them is how they most likely will handle relationships in general. So be careful. I wanted to do a disclaimer that this video is not advice for you to leave a marriage or partnership, nor is it to create a hostile environment between two people, partners, or children. It is simply what I personally see in my daily life experiences and work experiences. This channel is about coaching those who watch to do better than what we are taught or what we have experienced by helping another person get through their life experiences and struggles. And so I just wanted to assist in that part by saying that what we see on a daily basis, we can resolve if we choose to, or we could stay stagnant and just let it erode your whole life, corrode your whole life can be just miserable growing up. You see all these suicides and things that children are doing, adults are doing. This is what mainly some of the stuff is the games people have played in their lives. So take it seriously. And I hope you like this channel, this content. Series 3 was my final in games people play. Next week, I'm doing legal studies. And I'm sorry, legal matters, which I do every end Saturday of the month. And so it was supposed to be this weekend, but It's going to be next weekend because this was series 3 and I wanted to get this one out the way. And after that, I have a primary show for each sex. One is for males only, and the next one's for females only after next week. So come join me, Judge Desire for Knowledge. I will check you next week here on Know Your Truth, Real Talk with me, Judge Desire for Knowledge, for sure. Of course, bringing you the truth and nothing but the truth is now adjourned. I will see you next week. Thank you all, my subscribers, those that like, please continue to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you to the new subscribers that I'm at 110 now, slow, but it's okay. Just getting that message out. And IAAH Radio, thank you, CEO DJ 5 a.m. and all the best DJs and music in town. Go check them out there on their Radio Plus, IAAH Plus. And I will see you next week. Have a great weekend. Ciao.